Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Parental Vision Podcast. I'm your host, Tiana Caprice, and today I had the pleasure of sitting down with a father named Larry. I have never met anyone who loved their kid more than this man does. From how he pushes him to his baseball career, even after walking away from his own baseball career, balancing being a business owner of not one, but two businesses, and still maintaining his own individuality, but also remaining a phenomenal father. Take a look. Hi, Larry.
Hi, Tiana. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Welcome to Parental Vision Podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So word on the street is you're a businessman.
I am, yeah.
But word on the street is you're also an extraordinary father.
I think I'm all right.
I think you're all right?
Father.
Scale of 1 to 10.
Oh, man, that's tough. 6. 6 or
Not
7.
a 6. Oh, my goodness. How
8,
come? How
maybe.
come?
I don't know. I'm tough on myself, you know? It's a hard job.
It is. Being a parent is tough.
It is.
So let's dive right into that.
Yeah.
How'd you find out you were about to have a son? How'd you feel?
It was scary, man. Like, you're never ready to have kids. You know what I mean? Me and my son's mom, we were together for a year and a half, 2 years, living together, but it wasn't really planned. It was just kind of, you know.
Are they ever?
And are you ever really, like, ready?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's true.
But you become ready, and you just do it.
You
and
just do it.
It's the greatest thing in the world. I mean, I was talking to Lance and Steve. We were doing some business stuff, and, you know, I had said to Lance, like, Steve, wait, that's the guy I always see on Facebook with the, you know, parent show and Parental Vision podcast. And it's like, when are you guys going to have me? Any opportunity to talk about my son is like, you know, I could do that all day, every day.
I love that.
Yeah.
I do. So how do you balance being a full-time businessman and being a father?
So I work for a fintech company. I work in sales. I work with small businesses. It's a great career. I've been doing it for about 5 years. I do well. It gives me the ability to kind of have that work-life balance so that, you know, I can earn and have a career and make money and provide for us, but also, you know, be there for my son and raise him and, you know, do the things that I need to do. I grew up in the restaurant business. I worked in the restaurant business for years, which I loved, but, you know, that's not really a lifestyle that's conducive to being a father and, you know, raising kids. So I had to get out. And this has really given me the ability to kind of, you know, like I said, provide and also be there for him. I envisioned my life when he was a baby. I was working in restaurants. Now, 14 years later, you know, am I going to be able to be at the games? Am I going to be able to be at his baseball games and coach and do all those things? And so my career has definitely given me the ability to do other things too. I have a side business. I have an ATM business. So
You do?
that I just started,
What made you want to get into that?
Just passive income, you know, just kind of like I'm always in front of businesses and working with small businesses. So I felt that it'd be a good opportunity maybe to, you know, just kind of another avenue, another way to make some money and just kind of maybe set him up in a few years. And, you know, so.
I love that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so take me back to your childhood.
My childhood?
Yes. What were you like as a child? Because I'm going to actually compare and contrast. So how are you?
I don't know, man. You'd have to ask my mom and dad.
Oh, my goodness.
I think I was all right. You know, I had my issues. I was an only child growing up. So
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
But my parents got divorced when I was young. But I was raised by great people. I really was. My mom, my dad, my stepdad, my grandparents. Like, I had a good life growing up. And they really, you know, in different ways, they all molded me into, I think, a pretty good person now, you know.
Now?
I mean, listen, you know, when you're young and, you know, you're evolving and you're going through things, like you're always evolving, you're always getting better. But, you know, they really taught me like how to, I don't know, be loving and just, I think I am the good father because of them, because of where I came from, because of all those people. They taught me, my dad taught me about work and discipline, and my mom, just was always so loving and nurturing, and, taught me how to be a man and do things for myself. And I think as a father, I think that's one of my better qualities. I think I do have a good balance of being that tough, disciplined dad, but also that nurturing, affectionate, loving dad as well. And that's something that I've tried to instill in my son, and just we want to be tough. We're guys. We're men.
Yeah.
We want to be strong. But at the same time, like, I hug him every day, like since he was like a baby, and he was sleeping with me, and now he's 14 years old, and I'm still hugging him, and and I want him to be that way. So that's important to me.
I really do love that.
Yeah.
I do. I think it's so important to be affectionate with our children. And sometimes when parents aren't, I'm like, damn, like what's going on? But I actually recently had a guest, and she mentioned that she didn't get that as a child. So she doesn't know how to give that to her kids. So slowly she's learning. But I do think it's important because I feel like love starts at home.
Yeah.
100%.
A lot of people like that, right? They weren't really, I have friends who tell me, like, I can't be that way with my kids. Like, my parents weren't that way,
But we got to break the curse.
Yeah. And that is kind of like, we all come from great parents, but everyone makes mistakes. I mean, me, I think I'm a pretty good parent, but I make mistakes, and I've been flawed, and but my mom was always so affectionate and always taught me, like, you have to be affectionate. You got to be affectionate with your kids. You got to be affectionate with women, and and I'm glad, I'm grateful for that. I really am.
Shout out to your mom.
Yeah.
How did that make you feel being an only child, though? Did you wish to have siblings?
I did when I was younger.
Yeah.
Now I kind of, I do have a half sister now. I was just telling you about her. Like, she's in the same field, but same dad. Different moms. But I grew up an only child, but it was, I don't know, it was cool. I had all the attention. Like, it was.
I know, but it's like.
Yeah, you do. You want it. Like, I always wanted a brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was younger, now I don't really think about it too much. But when I was younger, like, I definitely, I always like wanted a brother.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when my sister was born, I was, I don't know, 10, 11. And it was pretty cool. But, then they split, my dad and her mom, and we kind of lost touch, but we've gotten closer as we've gotten older, so.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. She doesn't have kids, though, yet?
No, she doesn't.
Okay.
No.
Okay, cool.
She's still doing the whole.
Her whole college thing and everything like that?
Yeah.
I love that. Cool.
Yeah.
So do you want more kids?
That's a good question. It comes up, I don't know. I always wanted a little girl.
Oh.
I always pictured, like, being like, that daddy's little girl thing.
I can see you as a girl dad.
Yeah, a girl dad. Yeah, I always wanted to be a girl dad.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I'd want to have a girl, like, when they become a teenager and 15 and 16. And
why?
Because it's hard, man, with all these guys, like, running around and, like, the world we live in.
Yeah.
I think I would lock her in a room and she'd end up hating me.
Oh, my God.
She'd love me when she was a baby, Like,
yeah.
She'd be like, daddy, daddy. But then I'd get older and not let her do anything. And
Absolutely.
Not let her wear that top. But I don't know. I think about my son.
Yeah.
And I'm going to sound like a homer, but, like, he's the perfect kid. He really is. Like, ever since he was a baby, he was just like, man, he never got sick. He never cried. When it was time to take the pacifier out of his mouth, he took the pacifier out, and he went to sleep in his bed or sleep with me. And when he had to go to, like, preschool, he didn't cry. Like, and even now, during COVID, I didn't have to worry about him being in front of the computer. Like, he's so internally motivated and driven, and he's just such a good kid, and he's a good athlete and student and personality. So I think about, like, how could I have another one? Like, how could I ever, like, measure, like, to what Lawrence is? Like, I could talk about this all day. I could. Like I said, I probably sound like a homer. I mean, everyone.
No. You
but
love your kid. And you're proud of the man he's becoming, or the young man he's turning into.
I'm so proud of the young man that he's becoming. I really am, every day.
Do you have full custody?
So I've been raising him since he was probably 2 or 3 years old. His mom's always been in his life. We split, when he was young. Mm-hmm. When he was a baby, which was, I would say, probably the best thing, because we were kind of going through a rough time. And, when parents, I think, try to stay together when it's not meant to be and they're fighting, and then the kid grows up and he sees that, my son really never grew up seeing that, you know. And when we split, we did it, we had shared custody and we would split the week, but she, she worked in the restaurant business and, she worked a lot of nights, and I was trying to get out of the restaurant business. So, when she was working, I would take him, and it, it just kind of turned into split the week. And then he'd be with me 4 or 5 days a week, and then get to school age. And then we were like, all right, he's just going to go to school and, in Danbury where we live. And, and then it gradually, I never went to court to get full custody, but I've been raising him since he was a little kid. His mom lives in down south now, and they have a good relationship. They talk a lot over the phone, and she's very involved, and she'll check up on him. And we've always had a good relationship. I've always gotten along with her well. I've had our disagreements, over the years, like any mother, father.
Yeah.
But all I ever cared about was him. I always, to me, it was just about being a dad and being his dad. And, I was never going to let anything that happened between us get in the way, or I was never going to spite him, or, we get along really well, and I'm thankful for that. I really am. There's so much in him that he got from his mom.
Yeah, like what?
Just his personality, you know what I mean? Like he, like I said, he's got such a good personality, and he's teachers been telling me for years, like, what a good kid, like how easy he is to talk to. And he's a baseball player, and coaches constantly tell me, man, he's all, we call him Law because his name's Lawrence.
I love that. Yeah.
Law, yeah. Law is just, he's got such a good person. He's so easy to talk to, man. He's a good kid. And other coaches and just, and, he got that from his mom. Like she's very outgoing. People love her. She's funny. Me, I'm kind of uptight and
not at all.
And, like I'm happy that he got that. I see it on the field, because baseball it's a tough sport, and he's really good. He really is. He wants to play on a very high level, and he's gonna. And it's a frustrating sport. It's a mind fuck. It's you fail in baseball more than you succeed, and having a lot of her and him, I think it's been great for him on the field. Like it kind of keeps him balance. Because I was a player. I played in college a little bit, and I was pretty good, but I'd never had that mentally. I just couldn't. I was lost on the field.
Really?
I'd get fired up. I'd let the emotions get the best of me, and very much, yeah. Okay. So he's kind of a little more even keeled, and and I give a lot of credit to his mom for that, because he's got a lot of that.
That personality.
Yeah.
I love when dads come up here and give the moms their flowers.
Yeah, listen, he really is. I think he's a great combination of both of us.
Yeah. Does he want siblings? Does he ever talk about it?
Not anymore. He did when he was younger.
Mm-hmm.
But not really anymore. I think he's. He's a freshman now in high school.
Oh, yeah. Never mind. Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know if I could do it now. Maybe when he goes away to school, like I'll be 47, so I could still be a dad at that
You look
time.
phenoms, Dad.
Thanks.
You're welcome. You mentioned that you played in college baseball.
A little bit, yeah. I played for a little less than a year.
So did you do what the other dads do and put the baseball and the basketball and let the baby choose and just go from there?
I just put a baseball in his hand.
Oh, you didn't even do it?
And he just took, he like...
Really?
Yeah.
So he played in the other sport?
He did. He played basketball. He wrestled a little bit.
Okay.
And you know, but he just, baseball was just always like, just like me, it was like, that was our thing.
Yeah.
You know, and he loves it. And listen, I've always let him have a say. You know, I try not to be one of those dads that's, you're going to do this and you're going to play on this team and you're going to do this and you're going to do this.
Love that.
You know, I try to, he's so mature and puts a lot of thought in everything that he does.
Yeah.
And he speaks so well that I've always tried to give him a voice.
Yeah.
You know, there are times when I have to be dad and you know,
Put your foot down.
Yeah, exactly. But I've always tried to, and he just, you know, he just wants baseball. That's it. He wants to train in the off season. He wants to put his work in the off season at the cage and on the field, you know, well, indoors and work out. He got into working out as he's gotten older.
Does he go with you?
Well, sometimes, yeah.
I see it.
Sometimes he goes with me. You know, he like, I think he likes to kind of get away from me a little bit in the gym.
You think so?
I don't know. Just he's got a trainer that he works out with, and
okay.
now he's, you know, his friends and stuff.
Is he seeing results yet, or
He is.
he's bulking up more than Dad?
I don't know if he's bulking up more than me. He thinks he is.
I was about to say, does he think he is?
He's getting lean. Like he's getting really like starting to see. And you know, he's at that age, freshman. Like, oh, I want to have abs. I want to.
Absolutely.
I want to be shredded. I want to. You know.
Yeah.
He looks good. He does. I look at him a lot, and I'm like,
damn. Yeah.
Good looking kid. You know what I mean? That's what worries me. Like, is the girls.
I was gonna ask you, like, is he dating?
I don't think he is, but
what's the if you don't mind me asking, what's your like rule? Because mine is my daughter can't date till she's 16. So what's your rule, Dad?
You know, like he had this girl over this. No, was it? It was over the holidays.
Oh.
He was a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
She was a sophomore. The rule was like you're in the living room on the couch.
Good job.
So like, you know.
Yeah.
It's. I'm not at the point where I'm like, all right, you can go in your room and shut the door. Like,
do you ever think you'll get to that point? How do you feel about that? Teenagers going in each other's rooms.
I don't love it. My parents
I don't love it.
My mom and stepdad didn't love me doing that. You know what I mean? Like,
You did it though?
When I was a senior in high school, I think they let me do it. But my stepdad didn't. I remember him like, he didn't love it.
The
like,
stepdad? The dads are usually lenient.
I know.
Wow.
I don't love it. That's the one thing that he's so like laser focused.
Yeah.
Women, it's the one thing that like, because a girl could like, you know.
Can we?
My high school girlfriend, when I was a senior, I was the same way. I loved baseball. If she had asked me to quit baseball, I probably would have.
What?
I was so in love with her. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, that was a long time ago, but like, that's what worries me. You know. But again, he's always like, he's a smart kid.
Yeah.
You know, he's very grounded. He's very like, you know. So I trust that he'll make the right decisions, and you know, and that's the one thing I want for him. I want, you know, I hate to use the word broke, but like, you know, I had a broken relationship, a broken, you know, mom and dad, and my dad, you know, was divorced. Like, I want him to get it right. You know, one girl, the love of his life, get married, have kids, and live happily ever after. You know, like that's.
I love that.
And I think he will. Like, I think he'll, you know.
That made my heart smile.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. You know, I think maybe when he goes to school, like I was with a client the other day, and they're like, Larry, like, what do you do for yourself? You know, like,
I was gonna ask you that. Yeah.
Like, what do you like? You talk about your son, like you're like, what do you? And I'm like, I don't know. I guess I'll figure that out in like 4 years when he goes to school. You know.
What makes you happy?
Being around him, being around my family, you know. I like to exercise, I like to be outdoors, travel, restaurants, you know, I'm a restaurant guy, so I like to cook a little bit and do stuff like that. But I've, you know, all my energy and all my focus has gone into raising him. And it's always been hard for me, even dating. I date now. And
I want to talk about that, Mr. Larry. That, absolutely. Right? Yeah. The good stuff.
Yeah, the good stuff.
What's dating like as a single hot dad?
It's interesting. Like nowadays, dating apps and.
You're on the apps?
I'm on the apps, yeah.
Okay. How's the apps?
I mean, it's like
it's the apps.
It's a lot of garbage. Yeah, it's a lot of like
swipe.
That's the problem. There's always like something next.
Yeah.
You meet a good girl, like now there's another one. Like it's It's
That's
kind of
true.
like, that's the problem with the apps.
You ever been catfished?
Kind of.
How so?
Like, long story short, like, we exchanged numbers, sent me like before and after pictures, like had lost a lot of weight. Great, congratulations. We met and she was the before picture. Like, she was, like, she was about 250 pounds. Like, she was, yeah, she was sending me all these pictures. Like, she got in really good shape. And it was like, and I'm a nice guy. So, like, of course, I'm not going to say anything or like
Yeah.
leave or, we
Yeah.
had a drink and talked. But it's interesting. Listen, there's a lot of girls that you meet that don't look like their pictures and don't,
Yeah.
and they tell me the same thing. Like, guys lie about their height. They lie about having hair.
They do.
I show up, I look like my picture. I have a good head of hair. I'm a normal guy. I'm a dad. Like,
Yeah.
it's,
What are you looking for, though?
I,
Like, what would be the ideal woman that you feel like she can be around my son?
I don't know. I don't know that I could even do it right now. I really don't. I've had a hard time. I've always wanted him to give. I've always wanted to give him 120% of me, and I've always had a hard time taking some of that and giving it to someone else. I was in a relationship for a long time, and it was really I ruined it. He was younger. He was a baby in many ways. Really, when I started to raise him, and I just wasn't able to give 100% of myself, and I haven't been able to do that. And I don't know that I could do that now. I've met some good women recently in the last couple of years that would have loved to be a part of our lives, and I just have a hard time being able to do both, being able to be everything that I want to be for him and also a relationship, a woman, because it is, not that it's work, but it's, you have to be able to delegate your time. You have to be able to give the relationship, the woman, time too. I was dating this girl about a month ago. She lived in Queens, right? So a little distance. She didn't have any kids. So she was very, like, she liked me. Like, I can tell, like, she wanted to kind of see where this could go. And I was getting a lot of questions, like, I would go into Queens for work, or you go into the city and, oh, let's meet up. Like, let's go grab dinner. And I'm like, I got to run. I'm always running back home, whether I got to take him to practice, whether, he's got a game. I got to take him to work out. Me and him go do something.
Yeah.
So, and she was kind of like, I'd get a lot of questions like, is it every day, like, you got to rush back? Like, is there ever a day where you're not going to, and I was getting a lot of that, which is pretty normal with a girl who doesn't have kids. And,
oh, I see.
you know, and they were all fair questions. Like, they just pointed, like, girls, they want to know, like, hey, you're a great dad. I think that's phenomenal, but is there going to be time for me?
Yeah.
And I just haven't been able to really, just be able to do both. I just haven't. So I think when I'm ready, we'll be, I don't know. I look at it like he'll be off to college in a couple years, and then in his 20s and with his family, and then I'll have all the time in the world to do whatever I want to do.
How does he feel about it? Does he encourage you to date?
I don't know. We don't really talk about it. He'll
Yeah, I don't
ask
have
me
guy banter, Dad.
once in a while.
Yeah.
We do. We have, like, open lines of communication. That's for sure.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask you. Yeah, open door policy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
He thinks I hang out with a bunch of different girls. And, like,
He thinks that?
Yeah,
Why on earth does he think that?
Nah, I don't know. he's but I really don't, man. I'm doing stuff with him all the time. You end
and
up
you're working too. Yeah.
Exactly. You talk to different girls on the app and stuff.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm not, going out on 7 dates with 5 different girls a week. You know what I mean? Like,
Understood.
It's but would he, I'm sure he would like to maybe see me with someone, But
Okay.
I don't know. I think also we've gotten so used to our life, just
you and him.
like what it is,
Yeah.
like, so I think it'd be
For somebody to come into that, it has to be damn special, and you have to be damn sure.
Yeah.
Understood.
And I don't know. I haven't really, maybe I just haven't met the right person. That's,
Well, we'll put it into the atmosphere. She'll show up before you know it.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
I ask parents hypotheticals on here all the time.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to answer it, just, if your son wants to bring home someone that you don't personally agree with, like if you're like, she's not it, would you tell him straight up, or would you let experience take its toll?
Oh, man. That's a good question. Mm-hmm. Man, I didn't think you were going to ask questions like that. I don't know. Like, what would you do? Like,
what would I do?
I mean, so like if I didn't like her, if I thought...
Yeah, if you thought she was riffraff.
I think I'd have to like kind of tell him how I feel, no? Like
It's up to you,
I'd have to like...
It's all right. So how would you say it though? Like, listen, son, she's not it, or would you,
Yeah, I don't think I'd be that. I mean, he's obviously bringing her home because he sees something in her that he likes, or that he cares about her, or so I think I'd want to be careful and just be like, hey, this girl's no good. She's trash. You're not going to date her. Because that could just end up being like...
drawing them closer together.
Yeah. And him flipping out on me or even resenting me. So, but I think I would definitely tell him how I feel. Like if I, especially as adults, as parents, right? We have a good sense of kids and who's a good kid.
We can discern,
who's a good woman, who's not really a good woman, So I think I would definitely share my concerns, no question. Like I said, we've always had an open line of communication, and I just want my son to be happy. That's the most important thing that I want for him. I want to raise him and send him into a world where he's a happy, successful contributor to the human society and just happy, you know what I mean? Like I would never, I joke around with him. Like I'll tell him, I'm like, look, if you're gay or if you like boys, like we're, me and you, I'm still gonna love, like, just like, we're not gonna be like, and he's like, Dad, I'm not fucking gay, all right? Like,
that was gonna be my next question. How would you feel about that? But you just answered it.
I wouldn't.
I love that.
What am I gonna do? I'm gonna disown him like he's...
You'd be surprised how many parents do. How do you feel about parents that disown their children because they're gay?
I just think, listen, you disown your kid for whatever reason. I think you're just setting him up for a future of, I don't want to say failure, but just a hard life.
We'll teach them hate.
Yeah, whenever you're, being disowned by a parent, and I don't know from experience because I come from great parents. Like I said, my mom, my dad, my stepdad, my grandparents. But I know, like, when you, kids that are disowned by their parent, like, there is no worse thing in the world for them.
Yeah.
So, like, I would never disown him, like, if he brought a girl for a different race or, like, if he was gay. And like I said, I joke around with him all the time. He's like, Dad, I'm not gay, all right? And I'm like, nah, I just, I want you to know, like, no matter what, like,
I love you.
I just want him to be happy. That's all we can do is try to mold these human beings into someone that goes into society and like, is happy and successful and a good human being,
That was a good answer, Dad.
So
it really was. That was like the best answer thus far.
Yeah?
So serious.
The rest of my answers have been boring, right?
No, I think you're doing great. Like, to see how you light up about your son is amazing. Like, you really love him.
Yeah.
And like, there's parents that come out here all the time. You can tell they love their kids, but it's like written all over your face. Your dimples flare, like you smile bright,
Yeah.
So I think that's great that he has such a supportive father. Because I feel like everyone needs their father, but I feel like young boys need their fathers.
Yeah.
So for him to have you, I think that's super amazing.
Thank you.
I did want to ask you though, if he didn't want to play baseball anymore, because again, they're hypotheticals.
Yeah.
How would you feel?
That's and I get that, like, especially being Mr. Baseball, which I am, and growing up playing baseball and coaching and, tough on him at times. same, same answer and I say this to a lot of people and they're like, come on, Larry, really? Like if he told you he was going to quit baseball, like you wouldn't care. And I'm like, listen, I would care because he's really good.
Yeah.
I'd be like, you sure? Like you're pretty good.
Yeah.
But again, I just want my son to be happy. I just want him to find his passion and his loves and put everything into that.
Yeah.
If it's baseball, great. I'll help you get there.
Yeah.
I do have
Connection,
the knowledge and, I can help you work and do the things that you need to do to get to that level. But if it's not baseball, if it's tap dancing, I want to tap dance like he can, or if it's lacrosse, like I want to go play lacrosse. I don't really have the knowledge lacrosse, but I'll learn. But I am going to push you, whatever your dream is. It could be film, it could be writing, it could be sports, it could be baseball, whatever it is. I've tried to instill a work ethic. Like you have to be willing to work, harder than everyone else. You have to be willing to put time. If you want to be a writer, you have to write every day. If you want to be a baseball player, you have to hit and throw, so, again, I'd be like, you sure you're pretty good? But at the same time, like, I just want him to be happy and do the things that he's passionate about. So
what else is he good at besides baseball?
He's really small. He's really articulate with his words. He's a good writer. Like he's not that he's into movies. I always try to get him to watch movies and he never wants to, but I think he was always kind of into like seeing film locations. Mm-hmm. I remember taking him to Philly like when he was little, and he wanted to go to all the Rocky filming locations. And like in LA, we went to LA and he wanted to go to all the filming locations of the show he watches. Like he's really into, I could see him doing something like that, or like, writing. Like I said, he's really good with his words.
Okay.
He's, like I said, he's a great baseball player, but if he told me tomorrow, I don't love it, this is what I love, like, then this is what we'll work at. I want him to grow up and live his passion, live his dream with it, whatever that is.
Absolutely. What are some of the morals you try to instill in your son?
Definitely hard work, that was something my dad, taught me. Mm-hmm. Just being disciplined and going out in the world and working and hustling. And, I'm a big Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant fan, like, and everything that those guys say, it's all the same, right? They worked harder than everyone else. Yeah. So that's something that I've tried to instill in him. Honesty, just being an honest, down-to-earth person, being a face-to-face person, mean what you say, do what you say, mean what you say.
Yeah.
Just take pride in what you do, and family's a big thing that, we've tried to instill in him, and respect people, no matter what. Like, I always wanted him to be the nice kid, not the dick bully kid in school.
Yeah. I was going to ask you about that. Has he ever been bullied?
No.
Oh, good.
And I told him to tell me too, because
You're what, Dad? You can say it.
I don't even want to say it. I told him I'll beat up a high school kid, Law. Like I'm
Every parent says that.
I know.
I said I would put
kids are brutal, man. Kids are
horrible. My daughter was bullied.
Yeah?
Do you know how bad I wanted to go to Payless and put on some unicorn sneakers and put my hair in pigtails? Because let's be honest, I'm the same height as a 5th grader.
Yeah.
Like, he said, yeah.
You are.
So I definitely wanted to do that. I feel you on that 100%.
See, I don't know that I would not be able to do that. Like, if my kid was bullied. Like, it's just, I don't even want to. And I always told him, like, I want you to be the kid that sticks up for the bully. Like, I don't want you to be, the one following the group and joining the herd, and like, especially like bullying, like, that's something that I think has gotten worse and worse, like in schools and stuff.
But he's definitely a leader, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not around him all the time in school, so I don't really know, but I think he is. I think I'd like to think that he's
doing the right thing when you're not looking.
Yeah, doing the right thing, making the right choices.
Yeah.
And I believe he is. I definitely believe he is. He's got such a good head on his shoulders, and he's
That's
so
good.
grounded and has like inner like motivation to do well, and just, you know, that's something you can't always teach.
That's true.
know?
Has he ever tested the waters with you? Like
Yeah.
go toe to toe with dad?
Yeah, listen, we've had you know, we've definitely had our arguments and battles at times. And,
Yeah.
you know, that's one thing. I mean, I'm a pretty cool dad, but I don't like attitude or like, you know, being talked back to and stuff like that.
I don't like that last word shit.
No, me
I
neither.
said what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
That, that's it.
And I tell him that, listen, I've given you a good life. I'll give you everything, you know, but sometimes my word is
Law.
my word, and
Yeah.
foot's down, and that's it. Like, I don't want attitude. I don't want eye roll. I don't want temper tantrum.
Just,
That's it.
yeah. What's a disciplinary action you take in your household? Like, do you believe in spanking? Did you believe in spanking?
I don't, not, I mean, did I spank him? Maybe a couple when he was younger.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, now as he's gotten older, like, he really is a good kid. Like, I don't really have to discipline him a lot. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I mean, now, like, at this age, you know, you're like, your daughter's starting to get to that age where, like, phones are a big thing. So,
Yeah.
like, the worst thing you could do to discipline a kid is take their phone away. You know? So I've done that. You know, take away some privileges like that. But like I said, I mean, the grades are always good.
Yeah.
The comments from the teachers are always good.
So it's all good.
I don't get calls from the school like, hey, he missed, you know,
Whatever,
this class, or like, so, you know, he's pretty good with me. You know, sometimes he's moody, and, you know, I catch a little attitude, but it's not really anything like where I'm like, all right, I got to punish this kid. You know, so it's, like I said, I've been so blessed, like, just like ever since he was little. It's been. We had a puppy for 3 days. It was harder raising the puppy, like,
Oh my God.
than it was raising him. We
I
gave it
love
back.
that. You really?
Gave the dog back. Yeah,
Dad, you didn't try. It was 3 days.
3 days. I know. We fostered it, so like still had the. It was harder than raising him. I mean, dogs, like, you know, like kids, like, they pee and they poop in the diaper, and then you change it and they're good.
Yeah.
The dog, you take it outside, it pees and poops. Then it comes inside and it pees and poops on the rug. And I didn't sleep for 3 days. It was tough.
Okay.
It was tough.
You
My
meant-
son was easier.
He was easier. Son, you were easier.
Yeah, he was easier.
You mentioned before that if you had a little girl, you told me about the fears that you have. So what are your fears with having a son? Besides getting caught up with the ladies, like, what do you fear for him with the way the world is today?
I don't know. You know, it's a good question. You know, we talked about it a little bit, you know, not, you know, like you said, you asked me what would I do if he brought home a girl that I didn't think was a good person, or like, you know, that worries me in the world. You know, I think our partner, choosing our partner, like, it's one of the biggest decisions we make in this world. You know, like, it's, and like I said, I really want that for him. I want him to meet his soulmate and forever have, like, I believe in that. And, you know, and I want him to do, you know, husband, wife, kids, and the house and the whole thing. And, you know, whereas my dad, like, we really didn't get that right, you know? So I worry about that. You know, just our country is not really in the best, you know, it's so divisive now, and you know, that worries me for young, but, you know, he's so strong-minded, strong-willed, and smart. I really believe that he's going to go into the world and
Kill it.
just kill it. You know, you always worry about distractions, and,
For sure.
you know, the distractions that really come as you get older.
Yeah.
But you know, he's always just kind of just exceeded the mark in everything he's done. So I just feel like he's going to continue to do that.
Absolutely. How do you feel about the school lockdowns, all the school shootings and things like that? Do you worry sending your son to school?
Yeah, I mean, it's something like you worry about that, like, everywhere. Like, he'll want to go to the mall with his friends, and, you know, you think about that. I think about that when I go into the mall. Like, I'm always looking around.
Yeah.
It's the world we live in. I don't understand how these people, like anyone, can get into a school, you know, and I don't know why they're not all locked down and just, you know. So yeah, that's definitely something you think about, and like I said, in our world today, like we go to the movie theaters and I think about it. I always look around and I'm like,
Yeah, me too. They say I'm paranoid, but hey, I'm very overprotective with my kids, so
yeah, but
I
it's
get
also like it's happened a lot in our country, like
it has.
so it's something that you kind of have to
Be prepared for. Unfortunately, it's the reality that we live in.
And the kids, you know, he's 14. He's at that age where he does do stuff with his friends on his own. I'm not there, so you're always gonna worry.
Absolutely.
You know,
my biggest fear, like when she's a teenager, drinking and driving and drugs and things like that. And have you had like the drugs and sex talk with your son yet?
Yeah, we talk about things. Like I said,
How easy was that?
I mean, you know, we talk about. I've always kept like we talk about everything.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like we're father son, but also close friends, and I'm sure best friends, and I'm sure he doesn't tell me every little detail as a 14-year-old, and vice versa. But you know, I've tried to keep him naive in a sense.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, I don't shelter him. You know, I've tried to keep the lines of communication and dialogue about what really goes on in the world.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's okay to talk to him and not, you know, shelter him, you know, 24. He's going to go into the world. He's going to be around kids. He's going to be exposed to stuff. I think the only thing we can do is try and raise our kids to make the right decisions. You know, he's told me when he was at middle school and he's walked into the bathroom and kids were smoking pot, and, you know, he's been offered it, and he, according to him, you know, no way. Like, I don't want to. He has aspirations. He wants to be a major league player, and he wants to, you know. So I trust that he will be confronted with distractions, like you were talking about, drugs and alcohol, stuff like that. And, you know, that's always something we're going to worry about as parents.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because especially like the shit that goes around now, and kids, you know,
getting into stuff.
take a hit on something that's laced with fentanyl, or like,
and they die, or they never bounce back.
Right. You know, so of course that's always a worry. But like I said, I you know, I feel like he's always made the right decisions.
Yeah.
I trust that he's always made the right decisions, and I you know, I trust that he will. I never go through his phone. You know,
I was going to ask you that.
Yeah, like I trust him, you know, and maybe I should check it more. I mean, but I just.
Do you have the password at least?
Yeah, he changes it, so like.
Oh damn! Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But when he was younger, I did, like when he was.
How old did you first give him the cell phone?
When young, like he was probably 8, but it was only like 8 or 9, just to text. I remember at first, because I wanted to be able to. Communicate with him.
Yeah.
You know, especially if he went with his mom, or like, you know, so I did get him a phone young.
Okay.
For that reason.
Yeah.
But not to play, you know, on apps and social media until he really, the last couple years. But
he has it already?
Yeah. It's like.
Go ahead, Dad.
Like
You're so lenient.
They all have like Snapchat. And, like,
well, I met another dad and a mom. 17 was their.
Really?
Yeah. So when you said a couple of years now, he's 14, I just was surprised.
See, like even when he texts his friends though, like they text on Snapchat. Like they all talk.
That they do.
They don't text like, so they're all kind of on Snapchat and Instagram, and like, you know, I've always trusted him. I've always, even when he was little, like he had an iPad, and I never like monitored his screen time, because he was always watching like YouTube baseball videos. And
oh, okay.
Not that he didn't like watch some of the bullshit that's on there too. But,
yeah.
I don't know. I trust that he's, you know, doing the right thing and making the right decisions. So like, I don't know.
I think you're doing great, Dad.
Thank you.
I do.
Thank you.
And you're not a freaking 6. I'll give you a 9, and I'm going to tell you why.
Oh, as a dad?
Yeah, I'll give you a 9 as a dad.
Okay.
Because you're leaving you out.
Me? Yeah.
Yeah, so if you incorporate you more into you, then you get a 10.
All right.
Okay.
I'll have to work on that.
Absolutely.
I look at it like he's going to be gone in a couple of years, and I'll have all that time to focus on me and,
Tomorrow isn't promised, Dad.
Right. That's right. You're right. You're not wrong.
Yeah. But in due time, you'll get it.
All right.
I trust that.
You're right.
I loved this interview, believe it or not.
Yeah, you did?
I did.
Yeah.
You are closed in, but you opened up to me enough.
Yeah. And I don't open up to a lot of people.
I loved it, though. It was
Thank you.
cute. It was nice. It was quaint.
Yeah.
But before we wrap, I do have to ask you one more question, Dad.
What?
5 things that you feel make up a wonderful father.
5 things?
Yeah, and you got them. I know you have them up there.
5 things. Love. Affection. Discipline. Presence. And just time. That's like you said, tomorrow's not promised. We'd never get time back. And that's why he said, focus on you a little bit. He's never going to be this age again. He's never going to be 5 again. He's never going to be. So I just want to maximize that the most I can, because once it's gone, it's gone. You never go back. That's why we decorate on the holidays and Christmas, and I try to keep them believing in Santa Claus for as long as possible. Because
I do too.
it's only that's it. It's once.
Yeah.
Once it's once they don't believe, it's So
over.
I think time is, of those 5 that I mentioned, time and love. Like I said, I want him. We're tough. We're men. We're strong. I've raised him to be tough, to go out in the world and be tough, but also at the same time, I've loved him and, been affectionate with him and nurtured him, I think, in a way where, I've tried to give him the best of both worlds.
Good job, Dad.
Thank you.
I think your son is very proud of you as well.
I hope so. I do.
I got a good feeling.
I hope so.
Thank you for taking your time to sit down with me
Thank
today.
you.
Absolutely. Come again.
I will, definitely.
Absolutely.
All right.
Well, everyone, that's a wrap for Parental Vision Podcast. Once again, I'm your host, Tiana Caprice. Until next time, bye.